Before you go on to the rest of the clip, we curate some of the most powerful moments from this podcast on this channel, PGX Clips. Subscribe now, press the bell icon and stay with us. Man, the soundtrack. Wow. Wow.
This reaction,
God.
I should have captured your reaction for
No,
our-
it's on camera. No, is it rolling?
Yeah.
Please get it rolling. And bro, what a soundtrack. Like, this is exactly what you would hope if you put together somebody like Rahman and Zimmer. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Congratulations. And you know, when we started having this conversation about talking, I started reading up on you. And I was like, I cannot think of a single better profile to do this project. Tell me about your vision. Like, my understanding is that this is probably the biggest film ever made, hands down, full stop. I saw the cast, and feel free to talk about some of that. I saw the creative collaborations you're putting together for this. I saw the scale of your vision, and I don't think that is something people will see. I got a private access to that. Tell me about your vision. What are you trying to do?
So it's a slightly longer story. I'll tell you how all of this comes together. So I'll probably go back to my growing up days when I was 18. And I grew up as this aspirational kid who wanted to be a filmmaker, wanted to be a director. And just around 1993, when Jurassic Park came, that Steven Spielberg made, I was like taken aback for the first time. I was like, yeah, it's not how they did it. It's look at what they've imagined. That you can have these dinosaurs running around in this park. And there's a whole story that plays out. How did they even think of that? Because we in our country never created or told stories like that. So for me, that was a very, one of my first renditions of being smitten by this world thinking that what do these worlds look like? How do they make it happen? And so believable. And then fast forward, did not become a director, started out as a little garage startup with one computer, Apple computer, and 3 guys who taught me computer graphics. They were my teachers. So I hired them, Merzen, Prakash, and Uzefa, with me till today, 30 years later. We're today the world's largest visual effects and animation company on the planet, with over 10,000 people.
And is the same company in continuity from that garage?
Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely. So 30 years later, it's still prime focus. We acquired DNEG, which is a London boutique, in 2014. Took that from being a 700 people company to almost 8,000 people worldwide. So the transformation that we were able to achieve, we've had 7 Oscar wins in the last 10 years. In us.
I think there is no movie in the last 10 years that I have not absolutely lost my mind over that you're not a part of. Right? Fair to say? What is this? Inception, Interstellar, Dune, all these great sci-fi movies where I'm imagining a reality that's not my own. You're all part of that.
Yeah,
Right?
no, those are exclusively almost our films.
Right.
So having done that, built it, grew up in India, aspiration to take our stories to the world. My joke always was that we knew how to make movies before we knew how to use computers. But our film industry never got recognition on the global stage. Maybe Mr. Satyajit Ray for film here and there was honored for an Oscar. Lagan and other big films that were really ahead of their time and did really great work never really shined on the international platform. So they always saw us as there's a big Bollywood or an Indian film industry. And it was not treated with the same amount of respect or appreciation that any other mature industry should be. It sort of existed for over 100 years. We've told our own stories. We've done it without any help from Hollywood or anybody like that. And that, as I was building the company up, even though we were a tech-enabled company, I got to the early 2000s and, as the Y2K phase happened and IT companies grew, I was like, why aren't they using us? We have the same technology, we have the same people. Why are they not using us? And that's where, in my little journey of being that 18-year-old to being, that kid who played cricket in school to the kid who played for his, state, school, country.
Right.
I was like, are we any good for the world?
Right.
So that became a sort of call it a challenge or an opportunity for me to, so for me it was like, am I any good for the world? Are we going to try it out?
Right.
So I got started, bought companies, walked into the West, moved my family in 2010 after the crisis of the 2008 US recession that happened, only to realize that I sort of built the most successful company from India, bought their companies there. And I walk into America and like, hi, I'm Namit Malhotra from Prime Focus. And it's like, who is Namit Malhotra? Who's Prime Focus? What have you done here? What have you done in America? What have you done in Hollywood? So it sort of almost hit a reset button on my rather successful journey till then to kind of start all over again. And as I did that, and I realized and learned a lot more about the intricacies of the West and Hollywood and the creative culture there and the UK and other parts of the world, what I realized was that, and having to fight that fight as an Indian person, in a part of the world, in Hollywood especially, where, to be fair, you could count the number of Indian people of any impact back in the day.
Sure.
So the journey is not easy, is to put it mildly.
Yeah. I follow what you're
And then you're
trying to
kind of
say.
dealing with culture and a process, and nothing you've done is good enough. And even though I've bought companies and I've employed people, it's like you're having to build your stature up one step at a time. And then when this big transformation happened, when we finally were able to deliver some really, stellar work on some of the big projects, that's when the sort of a shift happened, where Hollywood recognized me and the work we were doing and said, hey, this is not a cheap alternative. This is a better alternative. Talk to him because he cares about what we do. He's going to deliver the highest quality. And while he does that, he's going to make sure we are efficient. So that journey took a while. And then I realized that being a services company is perfectly fine. That's what we live and do every day with. And then you had the pandemic and the actors and writers strike. There was a second time around when I had the next sort of a reset button hit, because we were at our peak as
Before
a company.
2020.
Over 2020. Like I was the busiest company we've ever been, with the best lineup of Hollywood films, from James Bond to Dune to, Wonder Woman.
and all that.
Wonder Woman, all of that in 2020 itself. And the strike hits and suddenly industry shut down. I've got 11,000 employees. So I'm like, I can't survive. I got to make salaries every month. I can't sit here and look for the next project to happen. So I started calling clients and said, can we start producing together? Can we do something together? And I realized that that's where the opportunity came, that we should do something slightly more entrepreneurial, because that's who I am. And break the shackles of get outside that box and try something different. And Ramayan, through that time, and the content creation piece was just bubbling up. And I felt through that time and through that phase of all the things I did, I felt there has to be a point in time when we don't look like either the victims. All our stories are Slumdog Millionaire, Gandhi, Lion, even RRR, which I think is a great testament to Mr. Rajamouli's success of making a great film that really resonated with Hollywood for the first time. But until then, all the films they saw us as were victims, and we were poor and always less fortunate and treated poorly by the world. And I was like, no, that's not who we are. That's not the country I come from. That's not the person I am. That's not where our core strength and energy comes from. So Ramayan became that story for me to say, how do I take it and present something? That's the evolution of the planet. That's the first civilization in the world. That's the greatest epic in the world. How do we take that and mount it and present it in such a way that not just every Indian in the world, but every person in the world should want to watch it? So that became like an obsession in my mind to say, how do I do that? And that sort of became a culmination or a convergence of everything I'd done in my 30 years is sort of coming together, and Ramayan has sort of become that life goal now to just make it happen in the best manner that's possible.
Guys, trust me, I cannot give you the beauty of this conversation in just this one clip. If you like this clip, then you have to go to our main channel and subscribe to it and press the bell icon, because we post some amazing conversations for you on that channel.